Rabbi, let's talk a little bit about Shabbat, something interesting and very important also. When Shabbat comes in, a person gets Neshama Yetera. What is this Neshama Yetera? It's a special additional soul that comes from Shamayim, comes down and lands on his Neshama and stays there. Right? For all Shabbat like this. So this Neshama Yetera, what does it do? It helps him, to be more spiritual. To go to a higher level spiritually. And this is why on Shabbat we have to be very spiritual. There are things that we shouldn't do on Shabbat that we do on weekdays. For instance, a person shouldn't talk divrei chol on Shabbat, mundane things, politics, this, all kinds of stuff like that. You shouldn't talk about stuff like that on Shabbat. What should you talk about? Spiritual, divrei Torah, right? Spiritual things. This is what a person should do on Shabbat. Talk about these kinds of things, because he has neshama yetera, so he has to treat the neshama yetera with care, and not to be mechalel the neshama that he got, into doing things which are mechulal, which are mundane. So that's one of the things, you shouldn't talk dvarim b'telim. The truth is, that you're allowed to talk a little bit, but not too much, like don't go on forever, this, that, all kinds of business, talking about business, talking about this, talking about that. That's not what Shabbat is for. There's a book like this, which says something interesting. If you want to know if a person is tzaddik or rasha, what you can do is watch him on Shabbat, right, on the Shabbat table. See what he does. There's three things, right, three possibilities. One is that he talks divrei Torah, right, on Shabbat table. This is tzaddik gamur, right? Perfect tzaddik, for sure, right? There are other people who like to do shirim, they like to sing, zmirot, So it says this book that this is Benoni, not so high like the one who talks divrei Torah. Divrei Torah is better. Yeah, Benoni, exactly. Benoni, he likes to sing, it's good, Baruch Hashem. He gets Oneg Shabbat from singing. He likes that. What about if a person talks divrei chol on Shabbat? This is Rasha, right? That's how you see, If he talks on a Shabbat table, divrei chol, all the time divrei chol, nothing kadosh. Rasha, this guy, he's not tzaddik. What kind of thing is that, right? So that's how you can see, right, what a person is. By what he does on the Shabbat table, how he treats Shabbat. So as we said, right, he gets a neshama yetera. So this neshama yetera, a person has to do something very important, to make it happy. What is this? To do Oneg Shabbat, right? Oneg Shabbat means having the seudot, good food, the best stuff, all the good things that you like to eat. Whiskey. Have it on Shabbat. Whiskey. Okay, I like that, right? I like wine more, Rabbi likes whiskey. I like wine. Okay, whatever you like, you drink. You do, whatever you like, whatever makes you happy. Anyway, whiskey is too strong for me. I fall asleep. Anyway, right. Right, that's also true. Of course. No, Johnny Walker is good. Johnny Walker, that's good. Tequila. God bless you. God bless you. So anyway, right, as we said, do Oneg Shabbat. Have good stuff, good food. And don't skimp out. Right, as we said before. We talked about this before. Don't go cheap. Don't cheap out. Buy all the good things, even though it's expensive. And don't worry about it. Buy. Because this Neshama Yetera, he gets, a lot of hana from this, that you do Oneg Shabbat. He likes it, So it says the Zohar Kadosh like this, that if a person does Oneg Shabbat, and he's me'aneg Shabbat, right, and he gives this Neshama Yetera the proper sensation that he wants to feel, what happens is that this Neshama Yetera will reward you, in Olam Hazeh and also in Olam Haba. So what does that mean? It's going to, just like you gave it what it likes, in Olam Hazeh, in Olam Haba it's going to give you what you like, to make you happy. It's going to make you happy. So it's going to pay you back for what you did, the mitzvah that you did on Shabbat. Just like you made him happy, he's going to make you happy. That's what it says in the Zohar Kadosh. So this is a very big thing, on Shabbat. Not a small thing. It's a big deal. And then you say to yourself, how stupid can you be a person? Like what? You don't want to do Oneg Shabbat. What's wrong? You don't want to enjoy yourself. But even that you don't want to do. What kind of thing is that, right? So Shabbat is meant to be for Oneg. That's the Oneg Shabbat because of Neshama Yetera. So this Neshama Yetera, what happens is like this, right? It stays with you all Shabbat. But here's the thing, right? Once Shabbat goes out, Neshama Yetera leaves. That's it. It's gone, right? That's why it says in the pasuk, right? Vainafash. About Shabbat, right? Vainafash. So what does that mean? The Gemara says, what does it mean vainafash? This word. It means why nefesh? Why? What does that mean? When Shabbat leaves, it's why? Because you lose the neshama Torah. It leaves you, So you feel why? That's what you feel, because it left. So, in order to alleviate this problem, what do we have to do? Says the Zohar Kadosh. So Shulchan Aruch says about down. Talmud, you have to do besamim, smell besamim. In order to alleviate this problem. Says the Zohar Kadosh like this. When the neshama Yeterah leaves when Shabbat goes out, so what happens is, right, that the neshama feels empty. Like nothing there, nothing left. Everything left me. I lost it. So in order to alleviate that problem, smell besamim. Right? And this, helps you to alleviate your problem, to fix it a little bit, to heal it up a little bit. That's why it's very important, to do besamim. Says the Zohar Kadosh, what is the best besamim? For Havdalah. Which one is the best one? Same thing also, it's written in the Shulchan Aruch. Hadas is the best one, We don't always have hadas. In Eretz Yisrael they have it more, because it grows over there. Over here, not so much, So we don't always have it all year round. So we use other things. I'm sorry? It's like a long branch, that we have for lulav, for Sukkot. Hadas. It's hadas. You know what I'm talking about? With the small leaves.
Right. Does it have the smell?
Has the best smell, yeah. If you buy a nice fresh one.
What about basil?
No, basil, everything is good, but hadas is the best one. Right? So, the question is, why is hadas so good? What's so good about it? There are also other things that smell very good. So what? What's the big deal? So it says the Zohar Kadosh, what happens is that when you smell hadas, it brings you healing to the nefesh, to the soul, because your soul is hurting. You lost the neshama Torah, So hadas brings you the best healing from all the other substances that we have. As we said, right, in New York we don't have it so much, but there are places where they have it all the time. So whatever, right? Whatever you can do, we do the best we can. What can we do, right? So here's the thing, right? It says the Zohar Kadosh. Why is that so important? Because the sense of smell, it doesn't go into the body; it goes into the nefesh, goes into the soul. It's the only thing. We have 5 senses, right? That's what they teach you in high school, right? In college, we have 5 senses, and one of them is smell. So, but the sense of smell goes not into the body, goes into the nefesh. That's what it says in the Zohar Kadosh. So therefore, right, that's the only thing that can give you relief for losing the neshama Yeterah, the nefesh. You lost. Why nafash? Why nefesh? Why? I lost it. Right? So therefore, this is the reason why it tells you use hadas. But the thing is also that we have to know, right, that the sense of smell, when you smell something, it says Zohar Kadosh, it goes into your nefesh, it goes into your neshama, it goes into your soul, not into the body. So therefore, that's what you want, right? This is the reason why the Chazal gave us this more than anything else. Why? Because we want to heal the nefesh, which is hurting, because we lost the neshama Yeterah. That's the thing, So that's why we have to use besamim. The truth is, it says in Shulchan Aruch like this. Let's say a person, Baruch Hashem, we have today, besamim in the house. You can go open up your pantry, right? You got there some cinnamon, you got some cloves, right? Tziporen, right? You got some stuff in there. You take it out and use it. It's no big deal. So we have things, some people also bring some other things, some fresh things, right? Menta they bring, mint. They bring that, right? All kinds of things. All these things are good, But what about it? Let me tell you first of all one thing, right? Each one has its own bracha, right? The samim. What does that mean? If it comes from the tree, ha'etz, right? So you have to boreh atzeh besamim. That's what you have to bless on the reach of the samim from the tree. If it comes from the ground, what do we bless? Isbeh besamim, right? Isbeh, esev. Esev means grass, right? So if you know which one it is, you bless either atzeh if it comes from a tree, comes from the ground, isbeh. Right? Oh, okay, yeah, that's the third one, right? That's number 3. So What about minei besamim? What is that for? Two things, One is that it doesn't come from the tree or the ground. It comes from somewhere else. Then we bless borei minei besamim. You understand? It didn't come from the tree, not from the ground. It's not from nature. It's not from the ground. It doesn't grow from the ground. Then we smell. Then we bless minei besamim.
If it melted, let's say, like a snow, crushed cumin.
Yeah.
It's also
Cumin is not. It's not minei, right? Because it comes from the tree, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Is that what you're talking about? I'm sorry. Which one are you talking about? Cumin. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, it's either from the ground or from the tree, right? One or the other. It's not minei besamim. So what is minei besamim? What do we bless minei besamim? We have something which is called musk. Musk. What is musk? This comes from the animal. Right? Certain animals, they take out from the neck of the animal. Something there, and they treat it right with chemicals, so it develops a certain kind of a smell. So this doesn't come from the ground. It doesn't come from the tree. So therefore, we bless borei minei besamim. Right? Also, there are fragrances which are made from whales. From things which are in the sea. This kind of thing. They take something from the whale, right? And they take that substance and they develop it, right, with chemicals, and they make it into fragrance. So things like this, it's going to be borei minei besamim. That's what it is. What about things which are artificial, right? Chemical, from the laboratory. They're not from nature at all, right? There are things like this, right? Understand? Artificial fragrances.
perfume.
Chemical. I'm sorry?
Perfume.
Yeah, sometimes perfume is natural. Sometimes. The good quality, perfume is natural. You know what I mean? But there are certain fragrances which are, not, they're chemical, they're artificial. They're made in the laboratory. They don't come from nature. So what do we bless on that? Borei minei besamim. Why? Because it doesn't come from the tree, it doesn't come from the ground. That's what you do. Understand? That's the whole thing. So that's the way we do it, when it comes to besamim. Also, there's another case we bless borei minei besamim. You know what that is? When there's a safek, you don't know, you're not sure, right? You're not sure if it comes from the tree, you're not sure if it comes from the ground, you don't know where it came from. So if you're not sure, what do? Borei minei besamim. Right? Just like, on a food, right? When you're not sure what the bracha is, what do? She'akol niyeh bidbaro. So for besamim, it's borei minei besamim. Same thing. When you're not sure what it is. You're not sure where it comes from. Also, there's another case, when we do like this. Let's say there's our friend Jonathan, right? He has this capsule, right? He has some besamim in there. You've seen, right? This thing that he has. He takes it out sometimes, he smells it. What do you bless on that? So, right, minei, why? Because it's a mixture, it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that, right? 20% this, 20% that. So we don't know, what's really the main thing over there. So since it's a mixture, also there we do borei minei besamim. That's what we do. ברוך ה' לעולם, אמן ואמן. רבי חנניה בן עקשיא אומר, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא להחזיק את ישראל, לפיכך הכריע בא להם תורה ומצוות של מלון חפץ למען צדקו יגדיל תורה ויאדיר.